Welcome back, guys, to yet another episode in the WoW Token Challenge. We are still locked away in the Barrens, and we cannot leave until we earn a token. Now, we have made a good deal of progress for this particular episode, as you will very soon see, and we have also ventured into a new dungeon today. And the same thing goes for some more Wailing Caverns, but also what you can see right here, Razorfen Kraul. But before we get into it, make sure that you guys join the giveaway for this episode, which is 2 months of game time. All you have to do, type a comment down below the video about something that you're currently enjoying in World of Warcraft or maybe another game. Just yap about something. That'll be the good stuff. And then also remember to like the video, because that way you are entered into the giveaway. And I do announce the winners in the pinned comments of every episode, so make sure to check those to see if you are the one to win. But let's get straight into the episode. It's finally time for us to step inside the Wailing Caverns. We've made it over to the dungeon entrance here in the northern parts of the Barrens, and I plan on doing 10 runs of Wailing Caverns and seeing what we actually get out of it. Obviously, I'll be doing a loot appraiser, and we're going to do 10 runs in an hour. I don't really remember whether or not we can make it a perfect 10 in 1 hour. We're obviously going to find that out now, because the last time that I did this is many years ago on a speed druid. So that's obviously a lot faster than a regular hunter. So we'll see. I'm going to do a couple of runs, and then I'll speed them up for you guys so you guys can see where we go and what we look at and how the farming rotation would look. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. And then we run in and out of the dungeon 10 times, and then once we're done, I'll go over the loot that we've kept and what we're gonna post in the auction house, and also what we'll be disenchanting and things like that. And if my inventory fills up completely before we get to 10 runs, I'll show a bit about what I disenchant and maybe some things that I destroy, or we would have to walk all the way out to a vendor, because technically we can't mount in here. Even if we could, we're not allowed to use our Brutos anyway, so we would have to walk all the way out of the cave and then get over to a place like the Crossroads, or maybe up here in the Hunter's Hill if there's a vendor up here. So we do have to go pretty far for a vendor, so if we have the opportunity to just say destroy trash, we might do that unless it has a lot of value. But let's get started. Alright, so we have done one run, and as you can see, it took a little over 8 minutes. Now, I'm sure I'll perfect the route in there a little bit, and I've also realized that skinning all of the raptors in there doesn't seem to be worth it. We are getting medium leather from some of the mobs, and I will be continuing to skin those, but not all of the mobs in there are worth it. To just get light leather, it's not worth it, but medium leather is definitely worth it. So I'll try to figure out a little bit more about which ones have a higher chance of getting the medium leather. It seemed like I already kind of know it. As for the trash, our inventory is already very full. Unfortunately, the loot appraiser destroy doesn't work perfectly, which is a little unfortunate. It doesn't work perfectly for the destroy trash, so it is what it is, but you can still kind of get it to work, and otherwise you'll just have to do it manually, which is fine, because we definitely need that space in our inventory, and then we'll just have to clean it out as we're doing the runs, because yeah, running out to a vendor every two runs is going to be too much time, and it's not worth it for the very, very, very small amounts of gold that we can get out of it. But I'm going to go ahead and continue here, do 10 runs, and I'll be back once we've done that. We have done what pretty much is 1 hour of Wailing Caverns. Now, we did 6 runs, and I would say I could probably do 7 or 8 once I really get into the routes. But our inventory is currently full, so normally right now I would go and clean it out, which means, you know, either going over to a vendor, over to the bank in Crossroads, or all the way to Ogrimmar just to post our things up. But regardless, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that we have. Obviously, I've been disenchanting the blues to clean out the inventory, and I've been deleting some of the trash that we have to make it more reasonable to actually run through Wailing Caverns. But all of the grays that we can find in here that are chest plates, helmets, or shoulders, or weapons, I am keeping those because those seem to be the ones that I've actually been mostly able to sell when it comes to these grays. And some of these have decent sell rates as well. And as long as the value is over 100 gold, I'll try a couple of times of posting it, and if they don't sell, we're just gonna vendor them. It's not a big deal. And yeah, we have a couple of those, and then you can see we have a bunch of different materials. We're getting some deviate scales dropped, and then a bunch of hide, leather, all sorts from skinning random mobs in there. And then we're also getting a little bit of cloth, which is not a big deal. But we do have a decent bit of greens. Obviously, the ones that have been under 100 gold, I've just straight up disenchanted when they dropped in my inventory. But you can see some of the names of what we have decided to keep. The way I'm deciding on what I'm keeping here basically goes as follows, and it is, if it is over 100 gold value, most likely I'm holding on to it, just because it makes sense to fill up the auction house with at least one of all these transmog items, because there's a very good chance that people will actually well, some collectors might come by and purchase them, so that's why I have, well, that's why I've decided to hold on to pretty much at least one version of all of them. But we're going to continue our adventures in the dungeon. You can also see here we have the enchanting materials, we have the rich illusion dust, the large brilliant shards, and then greater eternal essences, which is the exact same stuff that we were getting out of Ragefire Chasm. So it's not a big change in terms of that. We are making more gold from the enchanting materials than we would get from vendoring them. And also, if we had to vendor the blues, I mean, we would have to walk out to a vendor every 2 runs, I would say, which is a huge time waster. So even if we did lose a little bit of gold on disenchanting, it would be worth a lot more. But another thing is, we're also getting these stuffed deviate scale pouches. Now, out of these pouches, we can actually get 3 or 4 different recipes, as far as I remember, that are pretty decent. It's for deviate sets that you can craft. And then also there's some materials that we can get out here and a couple different transmog pieces. So I wanted to hold on to these so you guys could see what we get out of them, because we might get lucky. And another thing, if you didn't notice, is the fact that we also got one of these deviate scale pouches, as you can see right here. They are soulbound, so it doesn't really matter that we get another, like, more of them, but it is another 6 slots of bag inventory space, so we take those. That is one of them. Unfortunately, it does not have the greatest of values on my server here, but we will hold on to it. The regional sale average is, well, the regional sale rate is pretty good still. There's also some other ones, so hopefully we can get lucky. Now, we are also getting some of these here, the Dagmire gloves and then the sizzling sticks, but as you can see, this item has 0 sell rate, which means that we will be disenchanting them. If something doesn't have a sell rate, it hasn't sold in such a long time, like in months, so it's not even worth it to even consider for me. We're gonna go ahead, get rid of those. And then there is one. We have the Fang Blade here. This is a blue. This is one that you could consider, but again, it doesn't have a sell rate, so I think it's just because too many people have access to it when they're actually farming. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and keep disenchanting those when we get out of them. But you did see that we got a decent bit of materials out of it. All sorts of different materials, actually. So it's, you know, we'll take it. It's a little bit extra. It's you know, light leather, medium leather, silver leaves. We got a little bit of that as well. And then we got some deviant scales and whatever else. So not anything too crazy, but it's bonus loots. But now I'll start opening them once we're in the dungeon because it's much easier for me to do it that way. Unfortunately, we did only get one of the recipes. There are some other ones that we would like to have as well, but I think it's okay. At least we got one of them. Did also get ourselves a little... Oh, I fell down a hole. That's unfortunate. We did also get one of these grizzly gloves. This is another one of the white common items that are actually pretty good. But I'm going to go ahead and go back to Ogrimmar, post this up, and then we'll continue running a bunch of Wailing Caverns. That is the current plan, and I'll get back to you guys if I have some interesting drops, or towards the end where I plan on taking a break from doing Wailing Cavern runs to go back out into the open world to do some sort of other farm. You never know where the road will take us. A comment that I saw on the first episode was this one right here. It says, from Shirey, I feel like a new season calls for a new look. Gotta keep Sampion looking fresh after his monumental achievement. So therefore, that is exactly my plan. Because I was busy farming a little bit of Wailing Caverns, but now we shall give ourselves a little bit of a fresh look. And I don't know what it's gonna be, but we're gonna, you know, we're gonna figure out something fun because we haven't decided to use Transmog. The gear looks like what we actually have equipped, so that only changes if we find things that are better or look better. But let's see what we can figure out here. I think that this looks pretty good. We took away the sideburns, we trimmed up the beard a little bit, and we trimmed up the mohawk a little bit. I think it looks good. We're looking mighty fine. It also fits, I would say. It fits a little better with the shoulders and the gloves. Say this is a good choice. Let me know what you guys think. I've done a fair bit of Wailing Caverns now, and we have a really good amount of Transmog to show for it. We also have some of the better sets. Now, we did actually get a deviant hatchling, which is one of the pets, well, the pet that you can get from Wailing Caverns, and it doesn't have the highest sale rate in the world, but it is the first real pet that we've been able to farm, so that's pretty fun. We still have the Firemane leggings, but out of the Wailing Caverns, out of those drops, the really good ones are these Barbaric Loincloths, Prospector sets, the Grizzly stuff, the Blood Spatter, it's actually pretty decent as well. There's also some of the Sanguine stuff. Oh, all of it is great. Then there's the Aboriginal, and there's also the Whispering, like these different chest pieces. They're also pretty good. And then the Slayer stuff. Some of the stuff that we can get in the open world is also similar to what we can get inside of Wailing Caverns. It's just some of it as Wailing Caverns only, or it's easier to get inside Wailing Caverns because of how the loot table works. But I'm pretty happy overall with the current Transmog stock from Wailing Caverns. I think I haven't been able to keep full track of it because we don't kill the last boss in there, so it's not like we did with Duratar where we could see, well, we killed the last boss this amount of times, so now we can actually just tell how many runs we've done. But I think it's somewhere in the ballpark of 40 to 50 runs. Now, it's not the only dungeon that we have access to, and to make sure that we spread out the Transmog stock that we have just a little bit, I am going to go down and do Razorfen Kraul. Now, I want to show you guys the rotation as well for Razorfen Kraul, of course. So I'm going to go do that now. And inside Razorfen Kraul, there's a bunch of other stuff that we can get as well. I don't remember the entire loot table, so this is also as much of a refresher for me as it might be for you guys if you don't know too much about it. There's also some good looking items in here, and we can actually also get an axe if we're interested in that to change up the look of the character a little bit. So I'm pretty excited for that because it's always nice to change up the look a little bit in the real way. But I'm gonna go over there and we're gonna walk in there, and I'll do a run or two and speed it up for you guys so you guys can see the rotation in the dungeon, at least the way that I plan on doing it. And then after I've done a fair bit of runs, I'll probably show you guys what I get after an hour of running Razorfen Kraul. Again, I don't remember if we can actually complete 10 runs either in that, but however many runs we can do in 1 hour, I'll show you guys what that loot amounts to. And then of course the same thing goes for Wailing Caverns. I'm going to show you guys what we have in terms of loot drops every once in a while, and if we get anything super interesting, of course I will be showing that as well. But that is what we're going to move into. I want to do a little bit more dungeon farming before we get back to the open world farms, just so we can spread out what we are actually trying to sell in the auction house as much as possible, and then we can go back to doing skinning farms in the open world and trying our luck at something like the broken wine bottle or the shirt from Frey Island, or just the regular skinning farms. So there's a lot of opportunities, but for now we're gonna run down here and do Razorfen Kraul. As I was speaking about whether or not we were going to be able to sell the DV hatchling, I am not even kidding. I'm still flying down to Razorfen Kraul. I just posted this thing and it decides to sell. So this now means that we have to go back into Wailing Caverns and try to get another one. That's actually really funny. Well, I mean, that's how it goes. You know, it might be a low sell rate, but if you get lucky enough that somebody is about to buy this pet for their collection, I mean, sometimes it works out, man. Sometimes it does. Something that I forgot when you're running in here in Razorfen Kraul is that getting out, unless you're a druid or some kind of way that you can TP back and forth, maybe as a Death Knight as well, is that you can't get out of here really quickly. There is one option though, and that is creating a group in pre-made groups in the group finder if you're high enough for that level, and then you leave it, and right after that you get a teleport to the nearest graveyard timer. Now, I'm actually not entirely sure which graveyard this will be. I hope it's not in 1,000 Needles, and I hope it's somewhere in Barrens, because if that is not the case, that would be a little bit problematic. We're gonna see. See here in a second. Maybe it'll tell us. Beautiful thing. Well, it seems like we have been put right back into, well, the Southern Barrens right outside the entrance, so it honestly could not be any better than this right here. We have done what is pretty much 1 full hour of Razorfen Kraul, and we got 8 runs done. I'd say that we can probably get 9 or 10 if we try a little harder to do it. I did also spend a decent amount of time skinning in there, because we do have access to medium leather, medium hide, and heavy hide, which is really, really good. These are all very valuable, so I thought that was worth time. Now, out of the ordinary, we did get these Pison's Old Greatsword. I think this is incredibly lucky because it's a blue item. We did get a couple of them, but this has a lot of value. Even on the region sale average, is pretty high. So I feel like this is probably a pretty low drop rate item, but we will take it. We did get 2 of them. We got a very wide variety of stuff here. We did obviously disenchant anything that was under 100 gold value. Also, when it comes to some of these bracers, they have pretty decent sell rates, so I'll still try them out, but there might be some of the more hidden transmogs like bracers and belts that we might not try too hard to sell, but we will still be holding on to them. I'm just slowly glancing over all of these. This seems like a little fake value to me, but only one way to find out. Regardless, it is pretty good, the amount of stuff that we got. We didn't get too many duplicates. We did get a couple of duplicates, which is fine to have a couple versions of each. But there's still a lot more on the loot table to get. But this was 1 full hour. And now that I've shown you guys a good bit of what we actually keep here. I'm actually just going to continue doing more. You can also see we got about 66 greater eternal essences and some 168 large brilliant shards. And we got 40 rich illusion dust. Now obviously those numbers, they can change quite a lot depending on what kind of greens we get, so keep that in mind. We also did get 2 pets here, a wood frog bugs and a tree frog box. They seem somewhat, you know, a couple hundred gold, and the actual sell value on them is pretty, or the region sell rate is pretty good, so we're gonna hold on to these, especially if we get more, because why not? But yeah, that's overall what we got. We actually also did get about 600 gold in currency looted, and we didn't actually have to go and vendor at any point at all, which was really good. Now, one thing I did do since I last talked to you guys about looting, we had the issue inside of Wailing Caverns with junk items that we would have to delete, and my add-on here not working for Loot Appraiser Reloaded. This add-on called D-Junk is really simple. It works really well. It has a minimap button that brings up this right here. Now I can just drag and drop anything over here and say this is now trash, and then I can click destroy next item. Super easy, it's super simple. If I don't want that in there anymore, I can right click it and then it's an exclusion, so it's not counted as junk. But again, if there's anything you want to keep, because it goes for like the grays and the trash, all that stuff, it'll just automatically put it in here, and this works without any issues at all. I can just click destroy next item, and then it just goes through my whole inventory and destroys all the items that I have on the list. So D-Junk, again, install this add-on if you don't already have it. This is great. It's solved all of my problems. So we have reached the point in the episode where I'm going to go over our slash played and also what we have for sales from the mailbox. And right now we are at what looks to be 9 hours and 11 minutes. Now, if memory serves me well, we are at about, I think the last episode was like 8 hours and 16, or 8 days and 16 hours. So we've done about, what, 19 hours? Something like that. I think 18 or 19 hours since the last episode was released. And we've made a fair bit of progress. Now we do have 121 mails, so we can't see the total gold amount. But we can see 41,338 gold, at least in the first 100. Now, a lot of this, I can already tell you right now, is going to be materials, because in farming Razorfen Kraul, we are actually getting quite a lot of materials because of disenchanting, but also because of the amount of skinning that we can do inside the dungeon. We did actually end up selling one of these white items, Grizzly Cape, for 1,900, and a stock short sword, which is a green, I believe, for 1,000 gold. It might also not be a green, I don't remember. And a bulky bludgeon for 200 gold. So we still did sell some Transmog pieces, but you can also see we sold some lion meat here. Actually, the lion meat, and I think there's some more. Yeah, there's definitely some more. The lion meat does really well, so when we do the open world skinning farms, we should look for a little bit more of it. But other than that, you can see it's a bunch of smaller stacks of all sorts of materials. We have some more greater eternal essences here, medium leather, and then we have some heavy hide here. We do have the Pathfinder gloves of the Aurora. That's the green we sold for 475. That's pretty nice. That's a good sale. And we have the Deviant Hatchling, which you guys saw in this episode. We sold that for 5,669 gold. Nice. I definitely want more of these. It did take us quite a lot of runs to even get one. So, I mean, it's obviously not the only thing that we would go into Wailing Caverns for. But eventually we'll walk back into Wailing Caverns again and do some more farming. But you can also see we got a couple of additional sales right here. These are some greens, I believe, for, you know, low 100s and then 200 gold as well. And then we just have more materials, and we actually have, as you can see right here, War-Torn Girdle, Ravager's Cord, Robust Boots of the Aurora, and Tribal Brazers. That is a white item, and so is that, the War-Torn Girdle. The Ravager's Cord and Robust Boots, I think they're both greens, but still, I mean, you know, 475, 950, 285, and 665 are good sales. We take those. And then we have some more materials. We have a Feral Cloak here, which is a green that we got as well. 1,500 gold. That's a really good one. And then as you can see, it's just more materials and nothing besides that. So handful of what? Maybe like 10 to 15 transmog pieces or something like that, which is still pretty good. And there might be some more because we still have another 21 males after these 100. But 41,338 gold for the first 100 males. Gonna go ahead and loot that, and then we'll see what the last 21 have to offer. But I'm pretty happy with the progress. We haven't sold any like super insane transmog just yet. And I actually want to go over right after we've gone through the last bit of gold here. I want to show you guys the auction house. As you can see, we do have some more materials here. This was from when we did a lot of the open world farming before we ventured into dungeons. You can see we have some more lion meat right there. Very awesome, very good. And then obviously we have some gold thorn, heavy leathers, king's blood. So a bunch of different stuff. It's another 14,349 gold though. So that puts us at what, like 55k, I think, for the total. 55k, you know, not bad. If we did, what, 18 hours, 19 hours, it's about 3,000 gold an hour. And including AFK time and posting time and whatever else, it's honestly not bad. And our auction house, to show you guys, we currently have in posted value, we have 415,000 gold. Now, most of these are relatively close to their market value, so they're not unreasonable prices. But as you can see, I mean, the actual stock on the auction house that we have has grown a lot. We have 439 auctions. We do obviously have some duplicates, but no more than 5 of any of these. But you can see that there's quite a lot of different pieces of transmog here. Now, we don't have everything from Wailing Caverns and Razorfen Kraul, so I will be doing some more dungeon runs because my plan is to like fill up the auction house as much as possible with transmog from those 2 dungeons. And then when we wait for those things to sell, do a couple of you know, cancel scans with Auctionator. In the meantime, we'll do some open world farms, you know, probably skinning, and then also, of course, disenchanting for any greens that aren't worth it to post. And then that's pretty much what we're going to do. So we can, you know, get some consistent gold while we wait for things to sell in the auction house. But I'm pretty happy with the overall progress that we have made so far. And we have made it to 118,000 gold, which is really good, honestly, for episode 3. Now, the token is currently 358k. So it hasn't changed around too much since we completed Duratar. So the goal is still pretty much the same. I'd say, actually, we're about 1/3 of the way. So I'm pretty happy with the progress. And I hope you guys are still enjoying watching this lovely series. And again, if you have any recommendations for something that I should check out or an idea for something that I should maybe do in the Barrens, make sure you drop that down in the comments below. And also, I asked last episode what zones that you would prefer out of the ones that we can actually get to from the Barrens. Something that I also do want to say is, say that we end up picking Dustwallow Marsh or 1,000 Needles or Stone Talon Mountains or Ashenvale. Even if we pick one of those, that doesn't mean we can't go for the other one after, right? So let's say that we pick Ashenvale and we complete Ashenvale. We don't have to do Stone Talon Mountains, Fellwood, Darkshore, or Mount Hydril. Like, we don't have to do those. We could also just go and say, okay, we're going to do 1,000 Needles now, Dustwallow Marsh, or whatever. So we're not locked into going in a particular direction for the entire time. Just so you guys know, like, what my thinking is. But in a couple of episodes, I'll make like an official voting poll, and then you guys can basically make the decision for me of where we are going to go. But for now, you know, you can just talk about why you enjoy one of these zones that are close to the Barrens, well, bordering the Barrens. But that's going to be everything that I had for this episode. So, as always, I'll see you on the next one.